drinks, and welcome to another episode of Free of Fear, Full of Joy. So glad to be back. It's springtime. Look at this giant flower behind me. Isn't that amazing? Oh, springtime. The gateway to summer. My favorite time of year. Anyway, and when summer comes, looking for your new thing, your new boo, your new summer hotness. I know it's supposed to be hot girl summer and, what is the other one? Hot daddy summer? I don't know. Hoochie daddy summer. That's right. Those things are coming up. Fun times, man. Fun times. But anyway, I wanted to talk about, because I've been seeing it a lot on social media, and I've had some really great conversations with, people who are younger than me. And, the big thing right now is that the club scene in LA is so bleh. It is. And that's really sad for someone like me who was in the heyday of the club scene here in LA. I mean, I see eyes rolling from the Gen Zs in the gallery back there. Yeah, whatever, dude. You have no idea. You've never been in the club with Jordan. You've never been in the club with Jordan and Pippen and Charles Barkley. Have you? No, exactly. And you can't say you've been in the club with LeBron because he was married when by that time. So I'm talking about parties, and I'm talking about everybody on the dance floor, because nobody cared about what they looked like. You walked out of there sweaty and no shoes on. Nobody was like, oh my God, she's a dirty bitch walking around with no shoes on. Nobody cared. You all ended up at Jerry's Deli at the end of the night. You were all drunk and you still got a number or two. Now, the main problem with the LA club scene, and this is okay. So when LA club scene was popping, let me just say this. The only requirement was you had to be dressed according to the dress code, because you couldn't get in tennis shoes. You couldn't get in just streetwear, the kind of stuff. Everybody had to get dressed. Dudes were dressed. Women were dressed. Women are always dressed, but nobody was going to the club in sweats. You guys do that stuff now. That's just ridiculous. You put on your best shit and you go out there. You put on your best shit and you go out there. Okay? And, most of us women, we bought an outfit that day for that night. It was trashed by the end of the night. Okay? But you look good. The guys look good. They had to wear hard shoes. They couldn't wear tennis shoes. They had to actually get dressed, which was appealing. See someone at their absolute best. The other problem with you guys is that you have to check everybody's social media standing. How many followers do they have? What do they look like? All that other stuff. If you got there before 10 and you were ugly and you could get in for free, man or women, it didn't matter. That is the problem with club scenes. You could buy drinks. The drink specials left till 11 o'clock. You guys with all this bottle service stuff, it's ridiculous. How many 20-something-year-olds, maybe nowadays, but back then, nobody had time for a bottle. Nobody wanted to sit down. The only time you had a seat to sit down is because you were too drunk, your friend was too drunk, and you sat them down. Nobody was sitting down. That's number one problem. Number two, because you guys have all this social media stuff and you're so concerned about what you're looking like, you're standing around in the club, taking pictures of yourself, standing on furniture, taking pictures, and then that's it. You don't dance at all. All the guys are too cool to dance. They just stand around. It's ridiculous. I mean, it is ridiculous. And here's the other thing. This is the main thing y'all are missing. Because you don't dance, you don't have the practice of walking up to someone and saying, hi, my name is such and such, and I think you're attractive. Do you want to dance? That's the problem with a lot of dudes out there right now, because they just want to walk around in their ice and their Jordans and whatever crap you guys want to wear right now. And you don't know how to actually talk to a woman. That was the greatest thing about the club, is the interaction and communication that was going on. You might meet someone that's your total match. That's, you vibe with and you're talking with, and then you dance on the dance floor. Or there's, a woman that you've seen often, but you never get a chance to talk to her. And now here she is standing in the club. Okay? These are all things that you guys are missing out on because you don't have like a regular thing. Because when we went out, it was like we were at Thursday night at Cheka on Santa Monica. And then Friday night, we were at Savannah West. Saturday night, we were at the Diamond Club. Sunday night, we were at Century Club. It was a rotation, okay? It was a rotation, 4 nights. And sometimes you'd see somebody at the Diamond Club, but they wouldn't be at the Century Club, or you see them at Cheka, or you wouldn't see them. We had a rotation, and we knew the people there, and we interacted with them. We had like little crews and stuff. It was amazing. And we partied all night, and we, left, and of course ended up, halfway sober at Denny's or Roscoe's or Jerry's Deli. And maybe you saw the same person again there. Maybe you saw somebody else. Maybe you were there and there were like, I was in Denny's on Sunset and ran into Rick James. After you had just gotten out of jail, you could run into anybody in the club scene in this era. But I think the main thing is that you guys have this veil of social media where you want to meet people virtually and then you judge them based on a few words that you exchange. And you have no idea. You may have passed up your soulmate because you guys don't do anything. And I say you guys, and I mean like, I'm talking about this era of dating with social media and dating sites and all this stuff. You miss out on true human connections. Because there are people I still remember from back then that I never connected with romantically, but they are still great friends. And I interact with them. We run into each other. It's great, But I think that the one thing that is missing in dating and social life and the nightlife of this era is that communication is based on this thing instead of in the trenches, frontline, face-to-face interactions. So I don't know how you guys are gonna remedy this, but here's my idea. My idea is somebody needs to start a club. Maybe it should be me, where everybody has to put their damn phone in a Faraday cage, and they get it when they leave. You can't take any pictures in there. There's no video in there. There's no nothing. The music is playing. There's no bottle service. There's no tables. There's a few. No, there's none of that because what you got something to say out there?
No. I love the idea of no phones, but I guarantee you it would only work if there was bottle service because all that would happen is someone would go in there and be like, I swear to God, I saw LeBron James order bottle service for everybody in the club, and nobody would believe you.
That's the problem. Like that's the problem. And the thing is, we didn't have bottle service. We had VIP sections.
Okay.
So you didn't let me finish. We have VIP sections. So, like when I said, like I was at Century Club and there was these basically the Bulls team was in there. They're in the VIP section. And so if they see somebody they like, they send somebody down and you come up. And there are probably like about 20 people in there. It's not everybody sitting around. There are 40 people at a table and there's one bottle of champagne. It makes no sense. Just so you can stand around and hold court here? No. Like VIP section was what it was. It wasn't just some randos. Who's that? And why do they have this huge table? No. There was none of that. It was a VIP section, and they were actually VIPs. They weren't just someone who, was, buying one bottle for 40 people. So I think that would be a solution. I hear what you're saying about bottle service, blah, 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 blah. But really, do you really need it? From my experience, no. You don't need it. But you do need to get rid of the phones in the club, whatever it is. And start seeking actual interactions with people. Cuz here's the one thing that you guys don't know about the club scene in LA, and it doesn't matter which club you were at. At the end of the night, they bring the lights down a little lower, and I think also this is the reason why R&B faded, and hopefully is making the comeback it deserves. But at the end of the night, they play 3 slow songs. Every club, everywhere. 3 slow songs. So that dude or that girl that you've been looking at all night, that you've been catching each other's all night across, that guy finally walks up to you and taps you on the shoulder and says, "Hey, would you like to dance?" And you practically melt because he finally came over, and your girlfriends are giggling behind you and his dudes are like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." It is the most amazing feeling ever. It's awesome. It's so much better than swiping right or left. I'm telling you. Somebody needs to bring back the real nightlife. I'm just saying. Here's the other thing that goes with that. Being able to get close to someone and, talk to them and learn a little more about them than just the basic things, See if you make each other laugh. See if you have anything in common. See if, this person is someone that you'd like to get to know. And you can only do that if you have a close interaction. And sometimes the energy of this kind of event, the club, the party, whatever, is exactly what you need to give you the courage. Now, mind you, not every girl is going to say yes. Not every guy is going to come over. All that, what I'm talking about is a perfect scenario. But at least in that moment, you learn how to fail or succeed and not take it so personal, not like, get all in your feelings and want to, flee or, just start being rude to everybody because you had one person turn you down. Play the odds, especially in the club. Like, you might talk to 2 or 3, 4, 5, 8 people, and then you finally, meet someone that's kind of cool. So like I said, I feel like what's missing now is interpersonal reaction without a shield, without the shield of a phone. Just put it down. Be in the moment. Be in the moment with other people. My goodness. I think that's something that a lot of people are missing out on. There are a lot of events. I see a lot of events happening, and they've got these things where like the DJ is the center of everything, but still everybody's standing around. Nobody's dancing. They've all got their phones up in the air. Like, that is just crazy to me. It's crazy. Like, you're all standing there watching the DJ. Okay. DJs are amazing. They rule the party. But the party is what you're there for. Just saying. Like, wonderful, wonderful nights in LA. And I'm sad that they're gone. And I'm sad that, the last generation, a couple generations of people won't be able to explore that because, Thursday through Sunday night everywhere. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Well, no, we'll wait. And then, what was I saying?
It's something about CBS.
What was I saying?
Oh, what were you saying?
Yeah.
You were saying something about the club scene in the 90s and how it's got a, yeah.
Yeah, you guys are like, yeah, the club scene is gone, whatever. You guys don't give a shit if the club scene is gone.
I don't think it's gone.
Okay, I have 1.5
One thought.
left.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. But yeah, I think that is something that needs to be looked at. The club scene in LA and how to bring it back and to leave that, the phones out of it. I mean, some of the best nights I've had have been, impromptu parties, because some, people throw Airbnb parties now and whatever, but people actually threw parties in their homes at one time that were out of control. Really amazing. I met my first husband at a at the Wet and Wild party from that Easy threw in Malibu. Awesome, great nights. Um, I think like once you get past the club part, I think there is another aspect of old dating versus new dating. I think um, that people aren't being active listeners when you do get past that point and you meet someone and you're having coffee, lunch, dinner, brunch, whatever with them. Like you're not in the moment when you meet that person. And I feel that a lot of things center around what somebody else can do for you instead of figuring out, are we compatible as partners? And that's that's something that we really need to focus on as a group of humans, is finding out if someone is compatible with you as a partner. As far as, women go, yeah, of course you want someone who is, responsible, and someone who is, protective, and someone who encourages your dreams as the same as you encourage them. There is a lot of toxicity out there, and there are a lot of people that want someone else to be their therapist and solve their trauma. Please, people, get some therapy. There's lots of affordable options. Just deal with your shit before you try to go into a relationship. It's not going to get better because you're in a relationship. It's just going to get worse. And it's not someone else's responsibility to heal your trauma. You have to heal your own trauma. Along with that also goes, and I'm going to say this for men, if you can't plan a date, you can't plan a future. Let's just be clear about that. If you call a woman and you ask her out and she says yes, and say it's Friday and you guys are going out on Wednesday, if you don't check in on Sunday and say, hey, looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday, and then text her on Tuesday and say, just confirming, we're meeting here at 8 on Wednesday. You haven't planned a date, and she is not going to go with you. You have to continue to interact. Now, I'm getting a lot of shaking heads from the dudes in the peanut gallery back there.
No, if you
I'm just saying. Like, sometimes you wonder why she's not. It's because you haven't continued to communicate with her during the week. I'm not saying, there are some pick-me's out there that are fine with that. But if you are looking for someone to build with, then, interact a little more. As far as women go, I know there are a lot of creeps out there. There's a lot of, aggressive men out there, and some that just don't have it together. But I do think that you need to give guys some grace. Just give them a little grace. A little. I'm not saying a lot. Just say give them a little grace. Be a little patient, and ask questions. Don't just expect him to do everything. Ask questions. Be an active listener. It's easy for us to be active listeners. Men need to be active listeners too. But, give them a little grace. They're, sometimes they're slow on the uptake. We love them though. Sometimes they're a little slow. In that, on both sides of the thing, if you come at both sides of a relationship, if you come there and someone's going to be a little patient and the other person's going to be a little forthcoming, then maybe you can find a place in the middle. I just think there's a lot of like no patience and no active listening and no communication and a lot of like, next, next, next. And granted, you're young, you can do all those things, or even if you're not young, you can still do all those things. But patience, grace is something that I feel like a lot of people are missing. I do want to say that I do have faith that, the LA club scene and will come back. Hopefully somebody will figure out that, bottle service and, no regular DJ and people standing around is not a club, that is a bar. Basically, it's a bar where you just stand and order drinks. A club has a lot going on, a lot of entertainment, live entertainment, DJs, all the things happening. So I'm hoping that the LA club scene comes back with a roar, because right now it's leaving less to be desired. I'm trying to think what else did I want to say about that. Going into dating for both parties. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Say what you mean and mean what you say. All this like, oh, I said this to see what he would say. Or I'm just going to see what he said. Just say what you mean. Transparency, better than honesty. Just say whatever it is that you're thinking and mean that. Don't just say something and be like, well, I really didn't mean that. Well, what are you off your meds? Like, just be transparent. Say what you mean what you say. Be a communicator. It's not very hard, people. It's hard when you haven't dealt with your shit, when you aren't really who you're not being yourself. Then you can't be transparent because you're trying to project something that you're not out in the world. And actually, that can be hard when you're young to like really know who you are. It can be hard. It was hard for me. And then I just embraced who I am. And things became a lot easier. I also want to say that, I feel that dating should be fun. It shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be, a grind. It should be fun. You should be enjoying the people that you spend time with and that you share your time with. It shouldn't be a sport. And it shouldn't be something that you do begrudgingly or your friends say you need to go on a date. If you're not in the mood, you aren't. But otherwise, try to put your best foot forward and be an active listener, communicate well, and give people a little grace. So hopefully this was informative and gave you an opinion. I gave you my opinion about what's happening in LA because that's where I live. That's where I'm from, born and raised, West Side till I die. But I hope that things continue to get better here for nightlife and for the young people out in the world. And I just want to say I have faith in this town. I've always had faith in this town. I've been a lot of places in the world, but every time I touch down at LAX, I'm relieved. So with that, I'm going to sign off and say, be free of fear and full of joy in everything that you do. Dating, clubbing, interacting, communicating. It's the best way to go about life. So, can you say it with me? Free of fear, full of joy. Free of fear, full of joy. Free of fear, full of joy. Bye, darlings. Hello, darlings, and thank you for listening to the Free of Fear, Full of Joy podcast. If you'd like to listen or watch more episodes, You can on Spotify, Pandora, Audible, and YouTube. To follow us on social media at freeoffearfulofjoy.com. We are on Instagram and TikTok. Bye, darlings.